Well, what's up, again, guys? Brian here, 3TR, and welcome to another episode of the People's Questions, where I answer all the questions you guys have sent me over the past week. We got a pretty interesting list of questions. I think this episode might be a little bit shorter, but there's one exceptionally emotional question that I know is going to affect me in a big way, so I'd get myself ready for that one. So, starting off real simple with the first question, coming from Santa Scarpino. You want to know, which English voice of Frieza do I prefer? The old one from Z or the current one? They both seem to work for me. I'm still having a hard time accepting the fact that Frieza is a man, despite the fact that Frieza always looked a bit feminine to me. So I mean, I think that would have been cool if Frieza had been a girl. So, but you know, maybe that's just the race that Frieza is. I mean, Cooler looks like a guy. Lord Cold looks like a guy, but Frieza always looked a bit feminine. But in terms of voice actors, you know, they both work for me. Next question comes from Shadow Wolf. You want to know, if I could make my own video game, what would it be about? Okay, I would want to make a JRPG style post-apocalyptic steampunk game that basically was kind of similar to like the story of Elysium. If you guys have seen that movie, it's a Matt Damon movie. I thought it was pretty cool. And basically the objective is that you start as like the low-level people, and there's some sort of a serious plague. And you have to fight yourself in order to get to Elysium and kind of take it over so that you can kind of save the lower class people. Because and obviously as you get closer and closer to Elysium, you have to take on much stronger and stronger things, because those people have more and more money, so they can build stronger monsters and mercenaries and giant robots. I just think that that concept would be really, really awesome. That's the game I would make. Next question comes from Cassie J. Williams. You want to know, what are my thoughts on all the Star Trek movies? I think they're okay. You know, I mean, out of the original ones, obviously, I think the best one is Wrath of Khan. Then you get to Next Generation. My favorite from that one would be First Contact. And I really liked the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. And I really liked the first one, how it was able to kind of have an alternate timeline without erasing what had come before. I thought that was really, really cool. And I was a big fan of Star Trek Into Darkness. I know some people thought it was just a Wrath of Khan ripoff, and there were definitely some elements taken, but I liked how they added the element of it kind of running parallel to the original story, but being altered. I really liked that. And then when you go into the newest Star Trek, I personally think that they're all perfectly fine. I wouldn't mind seeing more of them, but you know, if we're not going to use the original cast, you know, I would actually like to see a much updated version using the Next Generation cast, because out of, I think, all the Star Trek crews, I think the Next Generation is the one that I grew up with. So, you know, overall, I think they're okay. I mean, there's some of them that are like not as good as others, but overall, I'm okay with them. Next two questions come from the Hunter Bros, and you want to know, do I like spiders? No, don't like spiders. I'm not a fan of bugs at all. And your next question is, what is my favorite DMC enemy? Not boss, enemy. Enemy. I'm not sure. I mean, okay, this one might be considered a boss, but it's a common enemy, because I know you might, like, it's in Devil May Cry 3. It's like that Reaper that is like kind of a boss, but I know you can run into them a few times throughout the game, so they're kind of a common enemy, but they're first treated as boss. I think that would be my favorite, simply because I liked how Virgil easily dispatched it like right away. I thought that was awesome. Next question comes from Josh McCoy, and you want to know, oh, this is a complicated one. So now you want me to do a 3-on-3 matchup between Darth Nihilus, Darth Revan, and Darth Bane against Emperor Vitiate, Darth Malak, and Darth Maul. Okay. Maul is going down first. He's not even anywhere in the league of these other characters. Malak would go down next. And so the question is, could potentially Darth Nihilus, Darth Revan, and Darth Bane take on Emperor Vitiate? Because Vitiate's the tough one. He's really the tough one. I'm not sure if he's immune to Force Drain, because that's all Darth Nihilus does, is use Force Drain. I mean, that's kind of how he operates. I think I think that if Revan and Darth Bane combine their powers, because they're both incredibly powerful, that might be enough. It would be a tough battle, but it would be a tough enough battle if it was just Darth Nihilus, Revan, and Bane taking on Vitiate. Take Malak and Maul out of the equation, but I think the first team would win. It would be a tough battle. Next question comes from Alu Cerna. And you want to know, who do I think would win between Kingdom Hearts Sephiroth and God of War 3 Kratos? That's a tough one. Maybe Kratos. I mean, maybe I'm leaning a little bit more towards Kratos, but then, you know, yeah. I mean, if he has all his weapons and his magics, yeah, I think Kratos from God of War 3 could. I think he could pull it off. It'd be a little bit difficult, and I think that the fact that after a point, Sephiroth does have a certain pattern I think Kratos would pick up on. I think that's what would probably help him win the fight. The next question comes from All-Star Gamerpunk. You want to know, what do I think of the progress, if you can call it that, of the Final Fantasy VII Remake? Well, we really haven't seen all that much of it, but what I have seen from it since its initial announcement, I've been somewhat really impressed with it. Hopefully we'll get an update on it at this year's E3, or maybe at this year's PlayStation Experience. But as long as they take out that Cloud cross-dressing scene, I'll be perfectly happy with that. And I don't know why people would want to see that in high definition. That is a horrible scene. I mean, my brother keeps telling me they gotta keep that in because it's gotta have some comedy. The game has plenty of comedy. I don't need to see Cloud in drag. That is just a horrifying sight. Next question comes from, oh dear. Okay, here's the emotional question. From Yoda Date. And you want to know, what is my problem with the new Yu-Gi-Oh format and new cards? Okay. My problem with this format is it makes no goddamn sense. I literally have... Yu-Gi-Oh does not look like Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. I don't know what the hell is going on. I mean, I'm living in an age where some of my favorite cards are considered useless. I mean, tell me this. When the hell... Can you tell me, when the hell did Obelisk the Tormentor become a useless card? When the hell did cards... Like, dear God, when did cards like XYZ Dragon Cannon and White Stone of Legends and Blue Eyes, when did Blue Eyes White Dragon become a useless card? I mean, look at this. What is this? This new dueling system makes no damn sense. And the problem that I have with Yu-Gi-Oh! Now is logistically, I don't even have the cards to combat them. This system is all over the damn place. I mean, this is supposed to be a children's card game, and it is so convoluted. I mean, it's amazing that Magic and Pokemon, sorry, the sun's going down. It's amazing how those games have not really changed all that much, and they're so simpler to pick up and play. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Keeps changing, and this is all Konami's fault. Konami is ruining all their properties. They fucked up Metal Gear, they fucked up Castlevania, and they're fucking up Yu-Gi-Oh! Here's the problem with Konami. You see, they keep changing these rules so that you buy more cards, and that is what that has been a new business plan that they've been following for like the last 5 to 6 years, where they basically make all these rules so that it makes all the old cards obsolete. And so you have to spend money to buy cards that are relevant now, instead of just keep adding cards to the current format and just having people come up with new strategies. I mean, that's really how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was for like the first couple of generations. Like, look, I didn't mind synchro summoning. I don't really like XC summonings, but what the fuck is pendulums? What is this link system? I mean, look at this card. I don't even... What's with the arrows? What's this link? Well, I don't even know what this new summoning system is. But it's ridiculous. I'm living in an age where a basic strategy, such as I'm going to lay 1 card face down in defense mode and lay 2 cards face down, is considered an amateur move. It is considered that is considered a bad move. Half of my deck is in the ban list, which is ridiculous, because these are like basic cards that everyone was using. It is just so incredibly frustrating that dueling is unrecognizable for people older than me. And people say, oh, you just need to get with the times, you need to get with the times. It's like, no, because I like to do a specific way. I like to think in a certain strategic way. I don't want to use this new system in which duels are ended like in 5 or 6 turns. I mean, literally, I'll tell you when I knew Yu-Gi-Oh was in a really bad state. Okay, is when I saw this one duel, and I don't know how this person did this, it was ridiculous. They somehow used like 20 cards in one turn, and it was so bad that I literally did not know what the hell just happened. I'm like, what just happened? This guy played one card, he took 2 cards out of his deck, he put them down, he put them in the graveyard, then he put them back in his hand, then he played another card, and it went on for so long. I'm like, what just happened? And this is a common thing. Tournament duels they're not even battles of attrition anymore. It's ridiculous. I mean, literally, decks are built around a single strategy. It was never like that. Duels used to be war. You used to bring personality into your deck. It wasn't just, basically, the best decks are the decks where people spend the most amount of money. It is now, their skill is no longer a factor in this version of Yu-Gi-Oh, if you can call it that. It's who can spend the most money for the best cards. And it had never been like that back in the day. Never. And I just can't understand how it got this bad. But then again, this is Konami. So Yu-Gi-Oh, the way you think it is going to be completely different 5 years from now. And I refuse to be a part of it. I mean, do you know how hard it is to kind of duel yourself? I mean, I can't even find people in this city that play by old school rules. I mean, that's why I'm stuck playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelists on PlayStation. Because at least I can actually play the old school style and actually test my approach and my cards and my skill against newer versions of dueling. Like, heck, the decks that I like to use actually can do pretty well against Xyz summonings and Synchro summonings. They can actually do pretty well, but against this new system, they're completely useless. I legitimately don't even have the cards to fight back. When did Yu-Gi-Oh get like this? Call it something else. This is not Yu-Gi-Oh! It is ridiculous. I have 3 decks that I've been building since I was 9 years old. Some of these actually still have some of the original cards, and they're considered useless. What is going on? This is like Maximilian Pegasus' worst nightmare. Not even a Tem and Yugimoto could deal with these type of strategies. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That is my problem with the current state of the so-called Yu-Gi-Oh! I just don't understand it because it is completely mutated into becoming a completely different game. We are at a point where Yu-Gi-Oh! Is no longer Yu-Gi-Oh! It has become a completely different game. I'm sorry. Got a little emotional there. But yeah. Just to sum it up, that's just a quick explanation as for what my problem with the current Yu-Gi-Oh! If you can call it that, format is. I apologize. Now, shall we continue? Next question comes from JBat, and you want to know, am I surprised about the excellent reviews that God of War 4 is getting? Not at all. I expected that it was going to be an incredible game, and it just continues the long line of incredible PlayStation exclusives, since that is what PlayStation has been known for like the past 20 years. So heck, I'm not surprised. I'm looking forward to it. I think my collection edition should arrive by the time this video is up, so keep your eyes open because I will do an opening for the collector's edition. Next question comes from Silver Shadow 2099. You want to know? So here's my question. Who would win in a fight between AC Cloud and Zack versus Jecht and Auron? Well, you weren't specific with Jecht and Auron, and there was only one point in their life where they fought together, so I'm guessing it's average children Cloud, Zack versus young Jecht and Auron. In that case, Zack and Cloud would mop the floor with Auron and Jecht. Yeah, I mean, at this point, their skills are comfortable with dealing with Sephiroth to a point, but at this point, Jecht and Auron, they simply are 2 different sides of what their offensive needed to be at that time. I mean, you had Braska, who was the magic user, you had Auron, who was the power duelist, and you had Jecht, who was the speed fencer, and that was a very, very well-balanced team. But I think that those 2 just wouldn't be able to operate as well as Cloud. And it would even help in Cloud and Zack's favor, because Cloud knows exactly how Zack likes to fight. And so he'd be able to keep on pace with Zack and change up his approach and just allow Zack to play support for him. So yeah, I think Cloud and Zack would definitely win. And the last question of the episode comes from Marcus Ronan, or Renan, hope I get that right, and you want to know, what are my favorite guns, real life? Well, Marcus, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really a guns person, so I can't really say. I mean, maybe one day I'll get a gun just for protection, but as of right now, I can't really say. And with that, those are all the questions that you guys sent in for this episode. I'd like to thank all of you guys for making this episode possible. If you guys have any more questions you would like me to answer in next week's episode, be sure to type them in the comments down below. Make sure you get them into me for next Wednesday before I start filming the next episode. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.